Tater salad.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Blood and Sand. Things are getting interesting for the party as they're arriving closer and closer to the fortress city of Distoon. Now, who among my beloved players would like to tell me about last week, Delmara?
I did it last time!
Okay, Ali Buki, you do it.
Me?
I
You're
did it
pointing at
last
yourself.
We did a hell of a lot more talking again.
Yeah, there was a lot of talking.
We have arrived as at the side of the road that's leading to this town. We've seen a lot of chariots and other merchants and people moving to and from. We settled down to camp before heading into the town itself, and we strategized once again. Just before we went to bed, we went and found two merchants, one of which we were looking for, the other one which we weren't. The first merchant was a half-giant-esque person who was very friendly and sold us some very useful magic items, mostly for narrowing, but there was a couple of things that he then discarded and handed to other party members. So everyone's got something magical to bring to the fight. And then we met the hag, who I don't trust, but is apparently cross-dimensional being. And Buckley inadvertently does like, which I'm sure we'll see more of her as the campaign goes on. And she was somewhat of a fortune teller and purveyor of magical items.
Variety of things.
Yeah, does some weird stuff. Weird, funky magic stuff.
She has a variety of special talents.
Particular set
Must
of
be a
skills.
rogue. Must be a rogue.
Make her a nightmare for people like you who try to figure out plot.
Hello.
Hey up,
Is that Mrs. Johnson?
it's Mrs. Johnson.
Hello! You're Roy!
So it was after that the pair of them returned, and we briefly discussed the items they had obtained, such as boots of flying and an improved belt of giant strength. So we now have two in the party, one being slightly stronger than the other. We then set up watches with Delmara and Grunt on the first watch.
Second, or you're the second to last watch.
I take two watches.
Oh, yeah.
Cause I
Oh, sorry, yeah. The
Because
last
I only
watch
have to
you were
sleep
also
4
on.
hours. So Delmara and Grunt took first watch, and we noticed a apparent drunk sort of stumbling around, but didn't appear to do anything, so we just sort of warned the others in Alistair and Buckley, who took second watch, and again, not a lot happened. So then Delmara came back with Shimmer for the third and last watch. Alistair had a bit of a dream, which we don't know about because of whispers.
You don't? Nope.
And when Delmara and Shimmer were on watch, they saw this drunken man stagger forward towards the party again, a bit suspiciously. So Delmara sort of stood up and crossed her arms in a bit of a defensive stance to try and get him to go away, which he did. However, when she sat down, she discovered an item lying in the sand where she had previously been sitting, had now mysteriously appeared, and she appeared to have a bit of a panic and sort of scrambled away from it on, just as quickly as she can. Shimmer went to examine the item and discovered it was a three-pronged whip. He tried to throw it in the fire, which did nothing, and that is exactly where we left off.
Mm-hmm. As you hear the sounds of the whip in the fire and it's almost like the metal of the small jagged hooks that are affixed to the top of the whip almost begin to sing with just heat increasing. So at present, the only two that are awake are Delmara and Shimmer. So what do you two do?
Della's just sort of pushed herself back as far as she can to the point that she's just collided with the side of the cart and is now just sort of pushed up against it. She's breathing rapidly, like she's just panicking.
You there, Shimmer?
Yeah, I'm gonna set a spell Burning Hands it.
You're gonna cast Burning Hands on the whip?
Yes.
Okay, you extend out your hand and you just blast down at the whip, and the whip, after you perform the spell, use a spell slot, cast it. Let's see what kind of damage you deal.
Oh, okay.
Also, I'll say that the casting of Burning Hands definitely awakes the party.
That's why I said a spell.
Oh, you spell? My mistake. Okay, so you suddenly don't say the words, but a massive gout of fire erupts from your hand, which is not quiet. I'm not going to roll a dexterity saving throw for the whip. Okay, I wouldn't have succeeded anyway.
Not going to roll it. Also,
Roll it.
roll dice.
My dice are doing well.
It's a disadvantage.
So you are all awoken by just the sound of the fire just out of
Breakfast
nowhere in that moment. And as you are Shimmer, you pull your hand away, and while the area around it is heavily charred and blackened, it's just the only place where it isn't is the silhouette where underneath the whip where it was covered, and the whip is still there, seemingly undamaged.
Huh, interesting.
What you are also noticing is that those prongs at the very tip of them, on each of the hooks on the end of the whip, are very much so bright red, and they're actually producing low light themselves.
Interesting.
Just notes it all down in a book.
Pretty
Fascinating.
I assumed this whip had something to do with you by your reaction, though.
Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Stop putting fire on it. Just get rid of it.
Buckley and Alistair, you are both awoken.
I'm assuming all the fire means that breakfast ready.
What time is it? What?
I don't know. We don't own clocks.
Yeah.
No, none of you have keen mind either.
Sally.
It's probably
here for a minute.
It's
Daytime.
It's third watch, so it's probably like 5 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, I'd say everyone can get a rest out of this. Yeah, so long as you're not like immediately up and actively like, I don't know, go kill something. Like you're only just like doing the morning things, you're okay.
Immediately maims nearby chicken.
1 point of exhaustion.
Fuck you, KFC.
and 20 gold bounty on the nearest town.
This isn't Zelda.
Chicken's
Skyrim.
expensive, yo.
That's kind of...
Hey, Alistair, Buckley, come here for a second.
Huh? Okay.
You know something about this?
And
I pointed the whip.
That's a whip, yeah. In the fire.
How did it get
Okay.
here?
Yeah,
Is that
we're
what's
trying to
for
figure that
breakfast?
out. Dell seems to be unhappy about its appearance.
Yeah, you can all just watch as Delmar is just pinned against the cart, hyperventilating at this point, with eyes wide, clearly got an adrenaline rush, and is freaking out, for lack of a better word.
Alright. Calm
Can I
down.
identify the whip?
You cats identifying the whip?
Yes.
It's the whip of Auntie Delmara.
Okay.
I mean, it is,
Big.
but still.
As you use the spell for it, you will take 5 points of burning damage because reduced to half to 2 because you're fortune main. So you literally just pick it up, this scalding hot, and you cast Identify on it. Do you do it as a ritual over 10 minutes, or do you use the spell slot?
And we're in no rush.
I mean, it's the start of the
Yeah,
day, so I'd ritual it.
Yeah, I'll just use spell slot. Just
You use the spell slot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Mark down that it is named the Whip of the Master. And what you know about the whip is that when used on the same individual continuously, the more it's used, the more injures the person. And if you choose to, like, say, whip it in a particular way and saying like a command word with it, which you know is cease or yield, either will work, but when used, you can actually use it and saying these words. The hooks will then, after hitting something, when the whip hits, the hooks will then latch around and claw into something to grapple it, and it'll be like a form of a 10-foot grapple essentially.
right. Oh, I was gonna help Damara and that, but nope. Can't get rid of it.
If you want me to get rid of it,
Can you destroy it?
sort of. Pick it up with the end of my sword, like round one of the hooks.
I mean, I'm kind of
Mhm.
holding it because I have to hold it to do the ritual anyway.
I don't really want to touch something that's burning hot.
That's why you took
Okay.
damage.
Yeah, I'll pick it up with a sword.
You're watching as his hand's sizzling. Like, why are you doing that? You could just
Yeah, it's
pick
just
it
like-
up. It's like,
I don't feel pain.
Yeah, I've done this many a time from the forge. I don't
Ow.
understand what's the problem.
I'm just gonna make this
Alistair-
metal now. I'm just gonna use my forehead to just push it into place. There we go. That's now nice and flat. Ooh, stars.
Alistair, you wonder how Buckley's still alive.
Andrew wonders how Buckley is still alive.
We all wonder that.
Yeah,
This
I
layer
mean-
goes deep. No, I'll pick it up by one of the hooks. And I'm just gonna open my bag of holding and just gonna drop it in there. There we go. Gone
Okay.
now. It's in another space reality with beholders and whatever's inside there.
Sure we have the beholder in there? I don't remember.
That's
putting
how
one in.
magic works. I'm sure it is. I'm pretty sure it is. They definitely came through the rift or the warp or something, and that's where that is. So it's gone now. It's fine. What was it anyway? I mean, I know it's a whip. Don't you know?
We do have a
It
beholder
was the
eye in
whip
there, don't
that
we?
was used by, my guessing, Crumble against Dell. So
Give the man a medal.
Do not try and materialize a medal.
I fabricated metal.
Okay, use a fifth level spell slot and you can. You now have a medal.
This is bad. This is really bad. This is bad. This is so bad. This is really, really bad.
I thought he was like off getting his self-disciplined.
So did I. That's what Merrick told me. I didn't think it would be this quick. He's
That complicates things. So when did that appear?
while we were on watch.
And you didn't see him put it there?
I never see. Look, we can't do our plan anymore. He could know what it is.
What, do you reckon he was
Yeah.
listening last night?
He could. We can't do that plan anymore. We have to do something different.
Okay.
Is,
Okay, well,
is the sun up yet?
It's beginning to rise. You hear the Minecraft music in the background. There's a bunch of skeletons that just go.
Never thought I'd get that reference from Das. I'll mark that one on the calendar. Okay.
Oh, God.
Well, if we think about this logic, we can't back out now. We've come way too far, and giving him more time would only be stupid. We have to go now. But I think then we have to prioritize on what do we want to do more, the dragon or the orb. And I think for the time being, if we can at least get hold of the orb, that's a point in our favour, and he'll stop trying to. If we try and go for the dragon, and stop her like subdue her but not kill her, he will probably jump in at the last minute and deliver a finishing blow just to spite us from the victory.
Yeah.
So if we use that as bait, but we make it the real. I'm making sure that no one else is around us, by the way. Talking very quietly amongst the campfire, but I don't want
Would
to
you like
whisper
to
because
use your Wraith Vision?
Wraith vision? What? Wraith vision? I have Wraith vision?
Yeah, you were able to use it before to see magic. It's one of the blessings that you got off your ghost. Remember, before you were able to see a little bit of shadow on some people, and you were able to see that there was something tracked on you by the beast.
Yeah,
the
that
demon.
thing.
Oh, right.
Wait,
I didn't
are
realise
you-
I had
are you
that.
telling me right now that you're fucking.
Italian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, before you use it, how many times per rest is that? Because it might be important later on.
Once.
Mm.
I don't know because I didn't realise I had this. I didn't realise this was the thing I could keep doing. Gonna make a note of this then.
If it's
Wraith vision.
if it's once per long rest, you may want to save it if we're going to be doing an infiltration.
You can make just a straight perception check if you like, Alistair Dartwood, Bastard Extraordinary.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're not being literally watched.
Also, I was kidding about the metal. I didn't Twice the fucking plot just to make a little fucking medal.
I'll put that down in
You
something
best
in a
watch
minute.
what you say, though. Just letting you know
I
in
know.
future. You start saying, I'm gonna make you do it.
So anyway, looking around, making sure I'm talking quietly amongst the group then, as we have our morning brainstorm over morning breakfast of burnt whip and singed hand flesh, I suppose.
Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear.
Already. Right.
You seem to say, why is it always me? Oh boy.
So he wouldn't be anything of a aberration, celestial, elemental, faith.
As far as
out there.
Delmara knows, he is just a human. Just a really awful and strong human.
I don't know what to do.
You don't know what to do! I'm having a mental breakdown over here.
Oh, I can fix that. Actually, I think I literally can fix that. I think.
Do you have calm emotions? That might be useful.
Yes, I do.
I was joking, but okay. It's like just giving her a little paper bag to just sort of go. Oh god.
Do little locate creature.
I already tried everything I know, so.
I don't know the details of locate creature. Is it the same? Because there's dominate creature and then there's dominate person because they're different. So is there a locate person, or does locate creature cover all of that?
Hold on.
I don't think it would.
Oh, that was the wrong one. Damn it.
Oh no, I think it is. It just says name a creature that is familiar to you.
Yeah.
And people are technically creatures. It even says you can locate a specific creature known to you or the nearest creature of its specific kind, such as a human or a unicorn. So, yeah.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello!
So we fucked.
Carry on saying. So, if we go for the orb, and if we remove that from the picture, then at the very least, it will take off the. Well, hopefully, I don't know if it will, but it's going to give this dragon more. She's going to be more likely to go AWOL and completely destroy Distan from the inside out, unless they've got something else that's controlling her. We don't know that, but if we can at least take the dragon orb, then at least it removes their ammunition against our support. Whereas if we go in and try and do both, chances are we're either going to get captured, killed, or I have a feeling that we would be very unable to take the dragon down low enough to subdue her, steal the orb and the dragon in human form, and get out clean as a whistle.
Yeah.
I just don't see all of that happening unless literally every planet aligns and all the moons align and shines out of our arseholes.
They won't.
Not happening.
They won't. Tomorrow, now the whip is gone, sort of calming down a little bit, and she starts to scoot very close to the fire.
I do not tell her about what I saw.
That's good.
I don't know what we're going to do or how we're going to do it anymore.
We have to stick to the plan. If we deviate from the plan too much, in that if we don't send Grunt and Shimmer into the Colosseum, and we don't send Mugmug and Buckley into Mugmug. Who's going into the Mugmug and Althea? Mugmug. If they don't go into the crowd, he will suspect that we have changed things. We have to act now as if like we're just sticking to it, guns blazing.
But he knows that
he knows exactly everything that's happening.
Yeah,
He
and
knows.
he'll know that we know that he knows because, yeah, why else would he leave? Why else would he leave it there? Because he could have just listened and fucked everything up, but he specifically left a message to say, I know what what you're going to do now, because I'm here.
Yeah, but we can't. We have no. There is no other choice. The only thing we could do now is say we're not going to this town again. But leaving now would just give you more time to recuperate, and to potentially do something else drastic, like remove the orb altogether, move it somewhere else, take it to Rothaven, take it to some other town we don't know about. We're here now. We have to go through with the plan. But if we deviate from it too much, he will know that we're doing something else. If we stick as close to our guns as we said we would in the plan, he'll think, okay, maybe they are still going to try and do it and just hope for the best that they can pull it off. But we're going to have to use the dragon now effectively as bait. Because I don't want to have to fight Crumble, the people of this town, and a dragon, because I genuinely think we'll just be walking into our own deaths. We might as well all just go out into the desert and starve to death.
Yeah.
Or we could have Buckley make us a glass house to sit in and we can fry ourselves to death.
Okay.
Whichever's faster.
You know what?
Seems favourable at this point.
We
The
need a glass
Buckley
wagon, not a
thing
house.
would be quicker for everyone but Shimmer.
Yeah, Shimmer's just like, oh, this is nice, huh?
This is my
Shimmer would love it. No, Shimmer would love it.
Ah, yes, my bathing room.
I'd be definitely chill.
Definitely be chill, yeah. Right.
We have another option of just go in, murder everything in front of us, and take what we want, but I don't think that's a great idea.
No.
Not great.
No.
I'm not really a fan of the mass genocide side of things. I can't imagine that every single living creature within this town is evil. I find that very hard to believe.
No, I think we roughly established that last time.
There's probably a lot of corruptness in the political government bullshit hierarchy.
Well, we know that just because of the whole arena and slavery thing, and the fact you and me both got walloped.
Exactly.
around. We both-
Arena and slavery thing. That
we
means that
both
there's
got-
slaves there who don't want to be there. We can't just go in and kill everybody.
Yeah, when you and me both got walloped around the head last time, we spoke slightly out of turn.
So I think we stick to the original plan, but we now have to basically use the dragon as a scapegoat. We have to make it look as if that's what we're trying to do, but as soon as we see the orb, we have to gun it for the orb, and then we just have to go.
We have to try and do it during the day.
Under the cover of daylight,
Yes.
we're going to make a forced march across the minefield.
We have to try and.
They'll
do
never
it.
suspect that.
We have to try and do it in the day if we can.
We're going to need some way of signalling to everybody. Each group needs some way of signalling.
Well, I have sending marked, so.
Okay, so you have sending. Obviously,
If you hear
Cork can
explosions,
set fire
hit
to the
turn.
Cork can set fire to the sky.
Yeah.
We need something for Mugmug and Althea. Althea, do you have anything that you could let us know that you're good to go, or you have to pull back, or something?
Takes out a war horn. Last resort. I sound this and run.
I mean, it's not subtle.
It's not
No,
so,
but
well
if
by that point.
things are going AWOL. It's not exactly going to need to be subtle.
Yeah, this is a pull out and run.
Right.
Incidentally, what is the escape plan?
Run.
Because no doubt it's going to be difficult to retrieve our caravan back. Are we going to do it like
Take
Pirates of the
somebody else.
Caribbean style? We're just gonna steal and do a chase.
I mean, if we have Jonathan with us, how many wolves can you
I
spawn?
was just thinking that. What else could you summon with that?
It's only wolves.
I mean,
can't
they're
summon.
dire wolves, but dire wolves are big enough to ride.
Yeah, they are large. I can summon dire wolves. I
How-
can summon 8 dire wolves.
Well, that's.
It's literally like the equivalent of your cart. It's just a really big sled for these fuckos.
I mean, that's enough.
That could work. So
That's
basically,
enough for everyone.
upon the call, everyone convene on Jonathan.
Yeah.
So basically, we have to get to everybody. Okay.
I actually have an idea. We need to get out, and you just said the idea of slaves. They're going to want to get out, and if you want to cause anarchy and make it so every guard in the city's got something to do, break every damn cage. Now, I don't know about you, but I can make everything rust like it's no one's business.
Wow.
That might be an idea.
That's-
Buckley, by any chance, can you do something similar? Being a metal worker?
Oh, it's like
Buckley, it would literally take you, like, looking at the lock and a hammer strike to break every lock on every cell you see.
That's fair then.
I mean, that too.
Maybe you could fabricate one big lock out of all the smaller locks.
How about you shut the fuck up? Fucking dick.
Children.
Okay, so we're
Anyway,
somewhat of a plan.
Yeah.
Plan B.5. With emergency plan C.
Plan B and S. Bull and shit.
Oh.
Let's turn this city into nothing but blood and sand. Roll credits.
Hey!
You don't get away that easy.
Okay.
I mean,
Let's pack up and go, I suppose.
I know you guys probably won't. We're still going to go ahead, but if you couldn't tell, I really don't want to do this anymore.
I really don't want to do any of this anymore. I would quite happily like to go back to the forest and live out the rest of my life until the world goes to hell and I'll
I
die.
mean, if we want to leave, I'm perfectly fine with it.
I think we have to go now. I think putting this off any longer is just a bad call.
Roger.
No, things aren't going to get easier if we leave them. Is the best way of looking at it. It's hard now. It's going to be harder later.
I suppose that's fair.
Let's pack up and go.
Okay.
Oh, and if we see Crumble this time, if we can, he has to die. If we
Oh,
can.
don't worry. I plan on making a cage for him.
Don't.
What alignment are you again?
Buffalo neutral.
I'm gonna put him in a cage. I'm gonna put him in a fucking cage.
There's some point where you realize some people just deserve it.
See, I'm pretty sure at this point he's broken the law a bit.
Broken
You
the
know.
law. Broken the law.
More than a little bit at this point.
I wonder what his seared flesh smells like.
Yes, that's
breaking my
exactly what
jaw,
I'm
breaking
thinking.
my jaw.
As much as I love this line of conversation, shall we get going? Because I don't want
Yeah.
to. I don't want to waste the daylight.
Let's go. Let's pack up and go.
Okay.
I get up to walk and hey, no noise. Ting. Hey.
Ding 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 ding. Okay, so you guys pack up, and others are also getting up this point. Many are very begrudgingly getting up on the other side of it. It looks like that group are more or less fucked, but they seem to also be moving into the city themselves, preparing to move in. And you all basically they're already getting up and moving, so you have to wait behind them with your cart. Because there's literally just not enough space on the roads.
Goddamn traffic.
Yeah, so it's literally a traffic jam. But you're moving in towards the city, and the exterior gates of the city, it's again, it's always this large, very heavily clayed built walls to this place, with carved out portcullis or carved out battlements atop, towers with ladders down the side of each of them. And the guards that you see as you're approaching are these heavily armored. And the thing that you do remember quite well about the city is that they do, in fact, use rifles. And you can tell a lot of the guards have, say, shields in front of them, with a rifle, say, sat over the small groove that is designed into the actual shields.
Regardless of the heat, before we approach the gate, I put up the hoods and draw over the mask over part of my face.
Okay.
I'll put
Make
me
a.
in my hood,
Do
which
you have
does
a
nothing
disguise
to me.
kit check, or how would you like to do this with
I'm
me?
not disguising myself, they're just items of clothing I have.
I'll say you can at least make a stealth check for yourself. Yeah, looks like something tomorrow would roll.
It's my lucky number.
Okay, so
It's ironic,
I'm going to
'cause I
bring you
rolled a 13.
guys back to a map which we've not used in a very long time. It's not the most in-depth map or beautiful map, but damn it all, I've never been able to find or recreate something that suited the city as perfectly as this. And you are approaching from the south side, where there's the only entrance.
We leave.
I don't like it.
I changed my mind. We leave.
Regrets.
Crusty wants out.
Immediate regret.
Lush cast of calm emotions. Alright, everybody, calm the fuck down.
Okay.
Oh.
So, the group ahead of you, you could hear the conversation bellowing out. It's between, say, this very haggard-looking elderly man sat down at the front of the cart, like bags under his eyes, expressing that they've got goods and things they wish to trade. And it seems like there's a lot of activity currently, so the guards aren't very in-depthly scrutinizing people entering the city. And as that large caravan moves in, you follow up behind them. The guards look to you, expecting a response. There's currently 4 guards on the outside of the gates, outside of the gates, 2 to either side, and they're all pikemen with this bright red kind of clothing on, kind of armor on. That's more or less with simple steel caps that cover their heads, like just like simple steel that's been bent around to perform the most rudimentary of helmets.
I'm just gonna sort of use my arm to part the crowd in our caravan, just to make Grunt visible.
Who goes there?
I wish Nemo was here for this bit.
No.
Stand up and draw something horrific but educational on your notepad.
I'm sure that Grint will probably just like stand up and bellow and probably bash her shield a little bit or something like that.
Get her to jump off the front of the cart or something.
Which she does, and in the way that I know she expressed she would do, she takes the head of the person that you encountered in New Grove and raises it up. And they just look down and go, like the 4 men, like they're not small lads, but they're dwarfed by her size, and they're all just taken aback in the moment. They're looking at her, looking back at it, looking back at her, and you're just like, okay, that's. So who are you? And then one of them goes, wait, is that fucking Grunt? I thought she was dead. And they begin conversing amongst themselves for the minute in like this brief confusion.
This is where we could use patters.
Yeah, this is exactly where you would use
This is where the party
Saturn.
needs a bard.
Yep.
Come on! Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't,
cellar.
Fair enough. If you'd all go say, I cast silence on the area and we'll just kill them all.
Don't worry, I'm right there with you.
Just wait.
Silence in 2 different areas.
We're sending the mute to go and try and talk our way out of this. What kind of fucking party is this?
Look, we've already agreed that we're one of the most dysfunctional parties there ever has been.
We're not a party, we're crashers.
We used to be, then we lost Tenji.
Oh, he was the sticky mucus that held us all together.
Wait, that's not mucus.
Ah.
Oh
But he
my.
still will eat it. Okay, so after a brief bit of confusion, one of the guards looks past you guys past Grunt to you guys and says, is she back to what's she doing here?
Yeah, she's coming back to claim her rightful name within the gladiatorial arena.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
Because
Please tell
as
me
far
you're
as
good
Yeah, I got
everyone
a
knows,
+5.
that's actually what Grunt is here to do.
That'd be a 20. Non-natural.
Cool. Yeah, they're fucking guards.
They open fire on us.
With their pikes.
And
Yeah.
we're dead.
Yeah,
The heads of the
exactly.
pikes fire off.
gun pikes.
Yeah.
Don't
Harpoon pikes.
don't tempt me, guys.
Harpikes.
Harpikes.
That's called a bayonet.
Okay, I guess. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. There's a big tournament coming up in the next 3 days, so she actually came back just in time.
Yes, we've traveled long to. That's why she wanted to come back.
Where'd you come from?
North.
New Grove.
You're a fucking moron. I'm specifically not talking.
Mm. The guard looks to you for a moment as if to go, and he just begins scratching the back of his neck and head for a moment, like, yeah, whatever. Just let him in. Just let him in.
Do I recognise that guard?
Make an intelligence check.
But out of character.
2 words.
Would you rather have me said, "Oh yeah, we're from
Excuse me.
Duskhaven"?
I don't say anything, but I'm smiling behind that mask that's covering me.
The humanoid figure you see. For a moment, you're trying to really grasp who you're looking at, and it's weird because, wearing this kind of different armor, most of the face is covered, but you see behind them that deep green and those tusks, and you're doing double takes. And it's very, very bizarre for you, but it looks exactly like Okuatar.
Oh, okay.
Excuse
Okay.
me, I'll take you back down now.
Open fire.
Okay.
And he just scratches the back of his neck and motions you guys in, so your cart moves in.
She doesn't say anything, but whoever is sitting next to her on the cart has suddenly got a hand that is grasping an arm or something rather tightly.
Right, it's that one.
Who
Well, I
sat
might
next to her
have
on
been
the
right.
I'm gonna say it's spook for hilarity.
Okay.
Okay, so she doesn't say anything, but suddenly there's just a...
Alistair, you have a death grip.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Why?
There's someone
hello.
behind you.
Oh my god, it's a smaller woman.
Oh, he'll like that. Mum bought a card for John.
Oh god.
He'll like that. Okay.
John's turning 70. He's an
On the
old bastard.
Tuesday, don't know.
So you guys begin moving
write it
into
out
the
tonight.
city properly.
I definitely want to talk to Delmara about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
She won't say.
100%.
She refuses to say anything.
Who was that?
The clouds today are actually hanging quite heavily as well, so it's actually a bit of a darker day, and you're coming to the time of year where rains are a lot more common, and the clouds are heavy and dark. They're coming over from the mountains in the west, and no, they'd actually be coming more from Duskhaven side. If that makes sense. They're coming from the Duskhaven side, and it's just dark clouds are just kind of taken over, mostly over the city itself. So it's a bit of a darker gloom to the city, and it's looks like it might rain soon.
Also, I would
Right.
figure somebody would give me a Gibbs back of the head slap, just like idiot. Yep. All right. All right. Cool. Whatever.
Something else to keep note of is that always keep a light near you.
Yes.
I snap my fingers.
Not too much, but enough.
Fair enough.
I snap my fingers.
Why would makes a nice satisfying sound. Quite curious as to why you want a light near you all the time, though.
It's kind of like Delmara's been saying we need to stay in daylight all day.
Daylight is our friend. Keep
It's
the lights
It's a bit
near
weird
us.
when the rogue says we need to stay in the light.
I mean,
Okay.
I could prepare
So-
daily real
Something.
quick.
Currently, the city is bustling. There's a lot of activity and there's a lot of people. This is the equivalent of just one massive boiling pot of races, people from different places all around the world, races and places all over this places. There are small. You can already tell, like, a lot of the shop areas where there isn't, say, a door. If there's a window, it's been covered, and there's now a stand like set up there where someone's trying to sell something. It's bustling in here. There's the world of people. There's a lot of activity, and everyone gives you somewhat of a wide distance when they realize your cart is being pulled by wolves.
I think we're
Because
going
we
in
fucking
incognito,
ballin'.
guys. I don't think anyone's noticed us.
Nah, no, I
It's
think we're
reverse psychology. You become so outlandish that nobody would suspect you're up to something.
That's
So
actually a
overt,
thing.
covert.
good. So should I like fabricate something, make it even
No.
No.
weirder?
The answer to that question for a very long time will be no, until I specifically need it. Until then, do not use that spell.
I will say as well, something you want to talk about, outlandish. One of the chariots that was in the other area is being pulled in. Like there's three people sat on top of it, very well dressed, very well to do, and the person that's pulling them is actually an ogre. So an ogre is actually pulling their car, the kind of thing. And one thing you are realizing very quickly is that there's clearly some tiers. There's the very rich. There's some that seem to be able to do decently well. Their clothes aren't raggedy entirely, but they're slightly. And then there's just slaves. For every person, like any well-to-do person, there's 5 to 6 slaves at their beck and call. And you can very quickly realize that there's a lot more of the manacles that you encountered in New Grove.
Just to clarify, who has those remaining 2 keys? Because that will be important.
Technically we all do, because
Yeah.
I made a copy for
You
everybody.
fabricated a bunch of
I
copies.
forgot.
Of
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was gonna say,
I have everybody literally has a copy of the set that we were given.
gonna
or that
be
we
like
found.
payday up in this bitch.
Glad I clarified.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
basically like, oh, we have magic pockets. Oh no, we actually just have a set.
Well, I'm going to turn to Core now. I'm going to turn to Grunt now at this point. I'm going to say how far away is the Colosseum from here?
She points, and basically where you walk in, we'll say you walk into this area here, and she just points around to the other side of that building.
Okay.
And when you turn the corner to it, you can now see it. It is the center point of the entire city.
Okay. So
Close to it as well, there are sets of walls that are it's essentially the equivalent of there's now just a box next to it of just like these very well built brick walls that are just like red brick built up right next to the actual Colosseum itself. The Colosseum, as you remember, is also a 3-layered structure. And these walls go up about 2 stories high. Well, actually, I'd say probably close to... No, the Colosseum goes up to about, from your ground point, about 4 stories high. And the stone walls next to it are about 3.
okay. Now, is there this to Grunt? Is there any sort of keep in this town, or is the Colosseum basically like?
She points at the very large building next to the Colosseum.
Okay. Now, if I was a betting man, I would imagine that that place would have some sort of underground area with which to keep stuff in. Just a hunch, but I'm guessing that building is going to be the espionage team's point of call.
You think they'd keep it with the slaves to the arena? I doubt that. It's going to be somewhere important.
No.
About the slave area.
Not underneath like the Colosseum, like the keep area, the keep next to the Colosseum. I would imagine there would be some sort of underground area that you could only reach from the keep. If I was a betting man.
Right.
But either
Yeah.
way, I think that is going to be our best port of call for any information, whether it be documents or hostages. So, do we want to break at this point and split? I know it's never good to split, but we need to cover more ground here. We could be on the clock. He basically, I imagine he's probably watched us enter.
Yep.
So we need to presume that we have already been detected. That we're always under watch.
So we're going loud. All right.
Going in.
No, we're going
No.
we're going to try and move quietly until things definitely get loud. He hasn't made his presence known, so until then we're going to go under the visage that we are seeking. So
Yes, we have to be
So-
cautious and assume that they know we're coming.
mhm. So if you guys want to head to the Colosseum, as
I will
Grunt knows the way
say-
to go.
I will say as well, Grunt is making things a lot more obvious because people are beginning to recognize her.
Hmm.
She was champion of the arena for a very long time, so people are beginning to point her out. So if you're going to split, you should split soon.
Yeah. So
This is our
Grunt.
diversion, so let's go.
Grunt, you know how the arena works, where to go to apply and whatnot. Just show Althea and Mugmug where to go for the stands. So they can at least keep an eye on you. And I think we're going to split.
Okay. Shimmer, do you want to stay with the people we have currently instead of going with Grunt, Mugmug, and Althea?
Yeah, that's probably a better idea.
Just because it's like you're here and they're there, and it's easier rather than you just saying you're standing next to 3 NPCs. You're interacting with 3 NPCs for the next hour and a half.
Okay, Shimmer's going
fair
to be part of the espionage team.
Okay,
Uh,
that's fine.
and,
She?
and as we're walking away, I'm going to cast Locate Object, and specifically for the Dragon Orb.
Okay. Make a sleight of hand check.
Oh damn it! I need to pee, but I can't go now.
14.
We're
okay.
halfway, we've got an hour left.
You're focusing intently. You try to focus on the dragon orb. And what's the range on locate object?
1,000 feet
1,000 feet.
from me.
Okay, and it's concentration, like it's after a while, isn't it?
It's
So
like
for
having
10
it's like
minutes?
having a permanent radar.
Yeah, it's
For
basically
10 minutes.
So the closer you get to, I'd say, when you do actually, like, say, get at a point towards the keep, there is a ping, and it's a ping that's not lower; it's higher. So it's somewhere up in the keep itself.
Honestly, that's preferable.
You can tell
Yeah.
it's you can tell it's somewhere, say, from what you're looking at the keep. Actually, you know what?
Yeah, it says you sense the direction of the object's location as long as the object is within 1,000 feet of you. If the object is in motion, you know the direction of its movement.
Hmm.
The spell can locate a specific object known to you.
Oh, fuck, sorry.
And
Okay,
I'm trying to
so we
keep a
know-
million windows open here.
Okay, just to clarify,
Trying to
because
keep
it's
a
been a
million
week.
windows open.
Althea is in the crowd. Mugmug is going in arena with Grunt.
I
Jonathan
think
is
Mugmug
coming
and
with
Althea are
us.
both in the crowd.
Mugmug and Althea were both going to be
Both
in the crowd just in
okay.
case.
Okay,
At this point, it's just going to be Grunt going into the arena, but maybe that's somewhat better.
I think so. Jonathan is with us. 'Cause
Yeah, Jonathan's
that's
with us.
Probably going to be important.
Actually,
So
yeah,
this-
Jonathan, do you want to transform into something small to go with
When
us?
you
for-
say this and you look around, you just see a tiny little sparrow.
Oh, I should call him
Um,
Jack.
You get a peck, and it's not even just like a peck; it's just actually like a bird bite down to the side of your neck and just twist the skin.
Ow!
oh,
With
You might down a
vengeance.
point of damage.
You might need it
I
later. Careful.
desperately need to pee. Desperately need to
Okay,
pee.
you go. Quick pee break if anyone needs to do it.
Okay.
Let's grab a drink. We'll be right back, folks. This is going to be a shorter session due to most of our people have to go to a dinner at 5 o'clock. So we're losing Alistair and Delmara then. So we're only going to go till 5. So we've only got about an hour left. I'll be right back.
So I kind of wish we had made my mask out of bone now.
huh. I did think about that at one point. I was like, oh, yeah, that'd be kind of a cool for mask.
Yeah, I just kind of like thought of it now. I was like, huh. I started looking for a picture with his hood down. Or the thing on the back.
Yeah. His veil thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hath returned, as is the fluff.
Huh.
Any reason you link that, Core?
That's my new look. That's what I'm changing the mask into.
Cool, like it.
We all came back within a minute of each other. That's wonderful. Right. So I'll just start describing this. It is stone built. I know it's grey on this, but it's grey. It's the only one I found, so we'll say it's red brick. It is a red brick with a stone gate, like an actual interior gate from the side you're coming. You're coming from the side you're coming in. Is the side on the map that is on the left, and you're facing it now. It looks to be heavily guarded. It doesn't look like it's a place you can just walk through.
Mhm.
So you may need to look for ways around that.
Jonathan, quick scout. Any likely looking areas?
Yeah,
He
I'll send
just-
John it, and then I'm going to ask everyone else. How's our? Never really asked this question before, but how's our ability to uniformly fly?
Is now the time to be asking this?
I'm thinking just for running away, because I know Shimmer can now fly because of his boots.
Oh,
Jonathan can obviously fly because he can turn into a creature, but
don't worry, I'll just magically sprout wings. It's fine.
I was more asking for the
Steady
other
on back.
spellcasters.
I had ravens first, damn it!
Damn right I did.
Did you actually give me the boots yet? Because I don't remember you
Yeah.
giving them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gave them to you last night.
When all the items
Alright,
were
fair
dished
enough
out.
then.
So you have boots of the flight. So flying's not an option.
No.
I mean, you and
It's-
me have done rooftop escapades before. They went pretty well last time, actually.
I'm wondering if it would be easier to escape. I know this is going to sound really weird to go back to, but I wonder if we could get out via the sewers. Sewers usually have some sort of exit way out into, outside of the city.
There isn't actually much of a waterway around here where sewers could be connected to.
Failing that, then I suppose we go with the old disguise technique.
And if that fails, I say rooftops.
You say what, sorry?
If that fails, I say go to the rooftops.
Well, yeah, the rooftops is fine, but how do we get out of the city?
Oh, how we got
You
out
can-
last time, I suppose.
We bolted through the front gate on horseback. Well, carriage.
While you're having this conversation, Jonathan flutters back and lands on Delmara's shoulder and begins pecking towards her.
Yeah.
Hopping up,
Wait,
flying a little bit away, and then moving back to her
hang on.
and motioning.
I'm going to use my primeval awareness.
Hey!
You have an
Okay.
innate ability to communicate with beasts, and they recognize you as kindred spirits. Through sounds and gestures, you can communicate simple ideas to a beast as an action, and you can read its basic mood and intent. This is the closest we can get to communication, but I'll take it.
He looks at you and just whistles. You can comprehend that he's described. There's somebody that shouldn't be here, but is here around, and he just stops and just begins fluttering and looking at Damara and you and trying to get you to follow.
Ah, fuck.
Damn it, I didn't really want to do the following at this stage, but okay, we should probably go and have a look. But I'm
Make
going to say we
stealth
keep
checks.
some distance between each other.
Okay, make stealth checks.
Are we? Shall we go at a slow pace, or are we hurrying
Well,
along to follow?
yeah, we don't need to necessarily rush, I'd imagine.
Good.
Yeah, slow pace.
Didn't matter.
Stealth roll. Where the fuck's
Good
my stealth
God.
roll? There it is.
So wait, doing a slow pace makes it.
For her, she
For
has
her.
advantage
I have
because she's
a
got
thing that
supreme
gives
sneak.
supreme sneak. I'm extra sneaky if I go slow.
Cool.
Closer to say between the actual Colosseum and the actual wall that is adjacent to it from the structure here. There is a small tunnel, like say an open tunnel, that has a roof that's actually properly well. It looks like it's just a bridge, but it's just on ground. And when you're there, both of you recognize a very small figure, looking around slightly frantically until it catches your eye with either one of you two, before darting its head back quite obviously. You both see Pitwiz.
I fucking knew it. Why is she here?
Do I remember her?
Yes,
Have I ever met her?
You have,
Yes, she
Yeah,
went
yeah,
with
yeah.
us when we escaped last time.
and she seems to have come back.
That makes no sense.
It makes sense in one mind for me, but it depends on how much you trust her. I'm not next to her.
I'm not going to immediately follow her. I'm gonna look back at Alistair and just be like, waiting for him to come a little closer so I can actually speak to him. Because we're not shouting.
There's like market stalls and whatnot nearby, isn't there?
Oh yeah, this place is bustling. You're literally just ducking and dipping through these as you go, heads low, never staying in one person's eye line for too long.
I'm gonna start moving into the crowd somewhat, and like looking at mundane things, fruit and whatever, just so that I'm surrounded by people.
We'll say that you're spending a little bit of time doing that to be less obvious.
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna wait for people to approach me.
Delmar, what are you doing currently?
I'm gonna try and remember where she went, but I'm gonna leave it and try to sussily. follow.
She's still there. She's still within eyesight, but she's keeping quite low and down. She's a small person in a place filled with medium-sized people. It's very easy for her to just disappear.
Well, if she's still looking at me, then I just sort of like raise a small finger, just like quite low, like holding it down, just to be like, wait. And I'll follow Alistair's lead in trying to just sort of subtly blend into the crowd and eventually make my way over to Alistair first. And just sort of like pretend to examine something. And just be like, I don't know why she's here.
I don't know why you grabbed my arm either.
I thought that guard, he looked a lot like... He looked like Ogwatar, which is worrying, because we definitely killed him.
He was one of the
Great.
orc assassin amongst the talent.
Oh, great.
Not only did we kill him, I'm pretty sure Merok tore his body apart, so that's really concerning. It was
Yeah,
hard
you don't forget something like that.
It was hard to
We
tell
can-
with the helmet on. And I'm just slightly concerned. Normally, I trust her more than
We do not trust her.
I trust her more than any of them, but I trust you guys more
I-
than her.
I would not trust her.
I don't
If
trust
she's casually walking around and she's averting herself from us, we do not trust her. For all we know, she could have received an equally as good a beating as you've ever received, and she's now back on their side under the thumb. We do not trust her. You keep away from her. She could blow our entire operation if she starts acting friendly towards us. She could eventually just be a beacon. Let's find out where so-and-so is. Oh, we'll just locate where she is and we found them. We leave her.
I'm afraid I agree with you. I spoke to her when we were in Duskhaven, and she said she was very adamant that she did not want to return to this place, so the fact that she is here is not good.
If she made her way here, she can make her way out. But I'm not risking everybody for the sake of saving her. She'll have to look after herself.
Okay, we'll carry on then.
I'm going to sort of move away from them and try and find out where Shimmer and Buckley are.
Before he goes, I'm just like, keep an eye out for any other members. You know what they look like.
Okay, both of you make perception checks as you go.
I somewhat know what they look like.
I would assume.
Yeah, you remember what they look like.
I would be looking just at various weapon.
Looking for blacksmith merchants. We're trying to blend in, Narrowin. We're not actually shopping.
What? He is blending in. He's blending in perfectly.
Best way to blend in. He was
a
natural.
He's a very mercantile person. It's very easy for him
He's
to
blending in perfectly. Don't tell him off.
Buckley, go and see if you can go and have a look over there and see if you can keep an eye on that guard. I can't. Why not? There's no blacksmith shops nearby. It won't look like I'm going to look at anything. Just go to the fruit stand next to it. No, it's not metal. I don't like it. I won't go. I don't want to go clothes shopping. You can't make me.
Oh, don't worry. There's leather working as well now.
You guys are watching as well and keeping an eye for Jonathan, and watching that little bird is just flying about. And you watch as it flies very close to one of the alleys. Just watch a hand reach out, grab the bird.
Oh.
Shit.
I go to the roof. I'm heading
You
over
try
there.
to. You run over there.
Don't run. I'm going to move through the crowd and I'm going to look for an alternate way up, not through an alleyway.
This is very Assassin's Creed at the moment.
Yeah. As you are, you eventually make your way over, and besides a few feathers on the ground, you don't see anything.
Shit.
I'm not losing Jonathan. Fuck it, I'm going to use my Wraith Vision. I'm going to look for him.
Okay. You
If
focus
he's been
your
taken
eyes
in
out.
Sparrow form, if he's been hurt, he'll be back in human form. I know
Yeah,
that much from him.
What you focus your vision on, and you're looking around. You're looking. This is a shadowed area, but it's not heavily shadowed. And when your eyes when you step in and your eyes focus for that moment, you can see there's just an energy all the way down the alleyway of a type of magic, and you're able to actually tell what type. So just give me a. It is a illusion style magic. What spell you don't know, but you know the school. And in one of the shadows, you see a crumpled figure.
Okay.
But with your vision honing in, you can very clearly make out that Jonathan is there.
Okay.
He looks like he's unconscious.
So he's in an alleyway around like the corner from me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'm not going to be stupid and walk around the corner. Is there any way that I can make it up onto the roof, either by climbing, or does it look like the building has a way of reaching its upper floor?
It does, but it's definitely not a subtle thing to do.
To go through the building.
To go up the building, like to try and climb up it, is what you're saying. So
Yeah, would it be possible if I wanted to climb the building?
You could definitely climb it, but it's, a guy just jumps up the side of a building.
Is there an entranceway into the building on the ground floor level?
There are, yeah. It's a small shop. There's basically at present there's enough, lack of a better term, NPC coverage that you just walking in and out of a shop isn't going to look too weird. It does look like it's a corner shop, so it has, like, say, a smaller door closer towards that alley, and then there's the large door which you're closer to currently.
Okay, I'm going to head into the shop to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And does it look like there's somebody, like, watching the door, keeping an eye on it?
Make a perception check. Nope.
No one's watching the door, from what I can see. Okay, I'm gonna sort of sidle up to where the door frame is to go upstairs. No, this is a bad idea. Is there a window that looks out on the alleyway?
Yeah, there is, and
I'm gonna
this
look
is a
out the window.
two-story shop as well.
gonna
Looking
look out
out
the
into the
window.
alleyway, you can see just a pool of spreading blood underneath the figure. He is. It is him. He's unconscious, and you don't see anyone in the actual alleyway. You don't see anyone else. You just see him.
Okay.
Make a acrobatics check with disadvantage.
Too long.
That's good, but with an 18 naturally rolled, and yeah, you just feel a force just push you from behind you, and you stumble, and your world just goes upside down for that moment. And Delmara, you're keeping close enough to him. You're keeping an eye to this, and you just see a hand just out of seemingly nowhere, just boom to his back. Alistair, you fall out into the alleyway. You fall, you're landing prone, and you see you're only about, like, say, maybe 5 feet away from where Jonathan actually is. And as you do, a hand reaches out from the shadows, and I need you to make an athletics or acrobatics check. Okay, you manage to pull away, pull up away from the hand, and you pull away to the other side of the wall, close to where Jonathan is, and you just feel an elbow just dig into your back. And in that moment, you feel something very heavy getting put into your hand, before you get a clatter in the back of the head. Next time, my dear boy, don't be so damn obvious. And he steps away, disappearing back into the shadow. You look down. The dragon orb's in your hand.
Wait, what? Would I have noticed it moving?
No.
No.
Oh, yeah, you actually did. You did notice it.
Yeah,
moving.
I was about to say.
You have noticed
So-
it was moving. It's basically moved in the last 5 minutes. It's moved. And once it's in the hand, you guys see Pitwiz. She has now disappeared.
I'll be moving in the direction
Yeah.
of the orb.
I'll be following him.
Calling.
We
I'll
cash weave our way through, trying not to draw attention to ourselves. Though at this point, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
I'm gonna have a goddamn look at where that shadow was. I recognize the voice? I know who it was.
Yeah, the shadow. It literally came out of the physical shadow, and it's you looking at the wall. You could see the hand coming out as if it was moving through, like physically through a shadow. Like as if
So I
it
know who it was. I'm
You know
familiar
exactly who
with
that
how that
was.
technique works.
Yeah, you're aware that he's able to physically pull himself through shadows.
Yeah, that's why I was saying stay near the light.
Yeah, that's why Del was saying stay in the light.
And to be fair, Jonathan was quite close to the
I
light, so
hope
it's not like he
us.
wasn't listening.
I'm gonna put the dragon orb in the bag of holding. I'm gonna see to Jonathan.
He make a medicine check. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, jeez, good.
You immediately
When it
just
matters.
you focus straight in on him. He's unconscious, but he's not injured. And what you notice,
So
you're
he's
looking
been
down,
knocked out.
that pool is wine.
God damn it.
You can now see like there's bits of broken glass hidden behind where Jonathan is.
He twatted him with a bottle of wine.
No, he knocked it. You can tell quite clearly. Jonathan did take a blow to the back of the head, but it was from a very familiar. Like you can tell the bruising and the pattern is a very familiar style to something you've experienced a few times. And you also get just like that nasty ring in the back of your head as well from his own hit at you. He definitely hit him first. It looks more like the wine that was behind him was stepped on. Because you didn't actually hear a breaking of glass. And when
Right.
you entered in, like, you fell and there was no sound. You moved and there was no sound. It was only after you took the hit to the back of the head in that confusion that you actually heard a voice and sound returned to you. It was like you were muted for a moment. And then you
Silence
heard him
spell.
again. And that's when the silence dropped, was when you heard his voice.
But why have we got the orb?
But yeah, that's the question. Why would he help us?
I'm gonna wait for everyone to come and meet up with me.
Okay, you have Shimmer. And you do manage to wake Jonathan up, who immediately just goes like into a start.
You're alright. You're alright.
What happened?
The tables have turned.
Shimmer, light, please.
You light
Put a
up.
light out.
Well, I'll leave the sword away.
It's very easy to like produce a bit of light in here. It's not too dark in this alley, but it was dark enough for shadows to actually be dense enough. I was fluttering. I thought I saw something, and I moved. I tried to move up high, so I would be like say out of like someone's reach, and then it's just a hand reaches out and grabs me, and everything goes black, and then I'm back into this. I'm away from that form, and then I just get hit in the back of the head, and everything goes dark. There was nothing. I didn't hear anything. Everything just spun, and
Yeah, Crumble took you out, and he's just done the same to me. But what I don't understand is that he's clearly here. He's clearly not going to attack us because he's just given me the dragon orb.
What?
Wait.
Is it definitely the right thing? Did you notice it?
Use
move?
locate object, and that is exactly it. It is in your hand, Buckley. You can tell that dragon orb that is right there. And the moment
I'm
you
not
put
taking it out.
back-
It's insert. I
Yeah.
put it in the bag of holding.
when you could tell like where it was, and you moved, and you saw him putting it in, and once he put it in the bag of holding, you can no longer sense it because
Yeah.
bag holding is considered a demi-plane.
So the question is why?
Maybe
I don't understand why.
To
it's-
completely fuck with our heads.
Well, it's worked, but I think fucking with our head. There's a difference between fucking with somebody's head and giving them the one thing that they've come here for.
that would really need for.
Is he trying to tempt us to kill her? Does he want her dead?
Maybe he actually does want us to go for her, but I do not feel comfortable going for her now.
You guys just hear a little, and Delmar, you look, and a letter lands on your shoulder, like a piece of paper lands on your shoulder.
Snatch it immediately.
It's in a very familiar handwriting. You have 15 minutes to get out.
Guys, I think we need to leave immediately.
They'll realize it's gone. Go, my dear. AC.
Crumble it up and just like.
Wait!
Wait, Ace.
Whoa! No, I'm holding on to that. I'm gonna put it back in. I'm gonna put it in the bag of holding. We'll talk about this later. We need to go and find Grunt before he gets himself enrolled. Actually, we mentioned that we were going to send out a flare. Shimmer, let's get out into the open and from the alleyway. Send out a flare and we'll bolt.
Before we leave the
sending
alleyway,
first.
I'll look out.
Wait, yeah, Buckley can do sending. Buckley, yeah, it's probably more subtle.
While he's doing that, I'll sort of like look out from the alleyway, and I'm looking at like people's faces, anybody like all over the place, trying to see
Okay, you
anyone
make a
who looks
perception check.
familiar.
Make it with advantage, because you're basically adrenaline junking right now.
Also,
Oh!
You see everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
I see it
excuse me.
Jesus Christ!
Hello, my dear.
Oh boy, this is a horrendous
You're
day.
watching. You're watching out, and you're looking out, and you can actually see into the courtyard itself. Currently, and you see a tall woman, a pale woman, and she's walking with her arms locked with someone that you can't see currently, and they're walking from the keep, and they're walking down towards one of the smaller buildings within the fort. She carries herself with grace and beauty, but there's just this underlying chill that runs down your spine. And when she moves, you can see who her arm is interlocked with, and she's talking with Crumblebottom. she's chatting with him as
And
if
they're heading towards the keep.
they're within the keep itself. Like you can actually see them from your position, through the gates, and they're walking from the keep into a different building.
Okay.
And it's him talking and like waving gestures, and for a moment his eyes lock with you and he just gives a slight smile as if he's just like looking out and seeing something pretty in the street before turning back and discussing with her further. You can read his lips quite well
Yeah,
because
I
you
can read
had
lips.
such intent on him. So after my dealings with that scrupulous lot in Rothaven, they requested me come out here. The tournament that is happening in 3 days will be such a marvelous event. Everyone's going to be there. Truly, I can't wait to watch. Everyone should make as much of an effort as they can to make an appearance. Until he's speaking this reading list with her. And this figure leans down and is speaking to him as well. Like he's 6'2". She's closer to 6'8" herself.
He's so fucking tall.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a running thing for them. And you can read lips of her as well as you're going, because what you realize very quickly in like the 2 minutes that you get of them talking is before they move away, is that he's almost repeating everything she says as if repeating with enthusiasm. And you can read his lips far better than hers.
Right.
So while you're only getting bits of hers, she seems to move her lips in a very bizarre way whenever she speaks. But with him, you can very easily read him. He's basically repeating everything, and it's that I'm quite surprised you arrived so recently. And to be fair, I'm quite surprised you left our dinner for that moment. Anyway, come, let me show you some of my new acquisitions. I've had a few new ideas. Let's move you back down.
Okay.
Then, you know,
While Delmara's looking round the corner, you didn't think it was possible, but she has gone even paler.
Fuck's sake, we need to bamp.
also in the sending message I'm sending to Othir, it is saying, we need to get out now. We have the dragon orb. We have 15 minutes. Meet by entrance.
Okay. You guys begin moving your way out. With the large...
I would say move through the shop. We'll move through the shop because there's more people. Move into open ground.
Okay, you move through the shop and you do kind of like bustle your way through. And as you do, there's like say maybe after 5 minutes, you just hear an explosion. And you see from within the keep, Buckley, the side of it where you were focused on, with your scrying, with your locate object, where it was originally, that portion of it just explodes. It's a massive chunk just blows straight out of it, and everyone begins panicking and rushing towards it. All the guards are just immediately focused on it, and you just watch the Damar, you recognize that figure again. She just storms out from where she was, and Crumblebottom's right behind her. And
I'm like grabbing the back of like Alistair and just like pulling him back slightly.
But they're looking towards the keep itself and away from you. And every time she like glances down to someone else, Crumble seems to move in a particular way. And you realize very quickly he's blocking her vision of you. So whenever her eyesight would be on you, he just moves slightly with it, as if he's like almost like stumbled, or he's just like shocked or flabbergasted by this event, and is giving you a cover.
No time to question. That's her. We need to go.
Yeah.
Go? Don't we? Shouldn't we act now? Or...
No, he told us 15 minutes.
Yeah,
good.
what? I don't
All
fully
the guards
trust
are
him.
currently moving towards
That's
this
her.
position.
That's her.
Yeah, I know, but why? If he's telling us to go, I would definitely go against that and say stay. Why is he telling us to go? Why is he giving us the dragon orb? There's too many questions.
We don't have enough answers. We need to get everyone back together at least. We need to find Grunt. We need to find Othir. We need to go. At
Well,
least
Buckley's contacted them. We're waiting for them to arrive. We're go. Let's. All right,
Which
we'll
also
go.
they
We'll go and
wouldn't
move
do, they would say
outside of the
they're right
range. Like
back.
we're going to move around a corner or
okay.
something.
After a while, you see that a very rushed Arthur is just pushing Grunt, and he's more acting like a bouncer almost for her in regards to like a celebrity, like keeping people away, getting her back on the cart, and with Mug at the front with him, and they're both just pulling the wolves, and they're both heading for the gate. And guards are questioning him as he's moving, and he goes, "I'm not keeping my star attraction here in this damn city when you can't even protect yourself. Screw it, we're out." And he's just saying this loudly, and the guards can't really stop him because he's got 8 wolves in front of him, and just moves with them.
Just, every now and again, just
A little snap or a snarl.
Right? I'm like, yeah, all right, fine, fuck, go, God, fuck, goddamn wolves.
So they move out, and you guys head, because there are people who actually are like jettisoning out of the city, out of like more of a confusion, like getting out of the range of it. And you guys get out of the city, and in that moment you'll get in the car and you just book it.
What the hell just happened?
Out of character, I think that's just they won't have to do anything with this tune anymore.
Now we can never come
here's
back.
the fucking thing. Get the fuck out. Go. I don't want
You do not leave until I say you leave!
Now leave!
Now go away!
We can never come back. Just as we're on the cart and like leaving, I just watch the entire time.
One thing you did notice as well is that when the guards, like say some of them were trying to ask people things, the guard you recognized just kind of like pushes past him and says, "Just let them out for God's sake! There's chaos, just let them out of the city, we can organize them later." And as you're looking back to Amara, you notice that whilst they're all there in that confusion, that cloak just drops off of him. He drops down the spear, throws away the helmet, and just like steps over so that he has a shadow against the wall. A hand reaches out and just pulls him into the shadow. And that is where we're going to leave the session.
Damn it. I was going to say I wanted to give a message ascending to Crumble Bottom, but...
Okay.
Oh, you want to do that?
Yeah.
So I have a theory.
Because I'm not telling anybody else what I'm doing. It's just...
Sure, you're just like focusing on a spell. Okay, so excuse us, folks. I'm just gonna do this for Nerwin.
Okay, so
That's
I have a theory.
a lot that happened in a short space of time. I mean, I get that we're on a time limit, but Jesus.
Go on, Shimmer, what's your theory?
If we remember correctly, the dragon mistress lady who's supposed to be here is corrupted.
That was her.
Yes.
Yes. So, getting the dragon orb out of here would give her power and allow the corruption to spread more.
I don't know. I was under the impression that she was corrupted either by a spell or by the dragon orb itself. So I don't think the dragon orb would stop the corruption.
He's clearly friends with her, and he wanted us to have it. That's not a good thing.
Yeah. What the thing that me, Cora, and Naren were talking about while you were down there. The green dragon.
Yeah, like she's corrupted like the one that she's been corrupted like the green dragon was.
We don't know because we've not seen her.
We don't know
The word corrupted is being used, but we don't know 100% because nobody's described like any of this black stuff. You okay?
That's my theory on what I think is happening here.
So, I think Crumblebottom wants us to kill all dragons. I don't know.
What would make you think that?
Because I just sent him a message.
Why would you do that?
You need to talk to every person of this party before you do anything.
Like this is really important.
Well,
what did you send him?
What did you say?
I sent him a message asking, why would you help us retrieve this item? And he sent back, because I've been burnt by them before, and so I want you to burn them all down.
The specific wording was, I've been burnt by them. Now you're going to burn them all to the ground for me.
Maybe Shimmer's right then. If she was corrupted, but this dragon orb subdues her powers, would it have in some way stopped the corruption, and now because it's gone, the corruption can now spread within her? We need to talk to Aeon Soul.
Mm-hmm.
But you are all off into the distance with a very disgruntled grunt. Disgruntled, if you would.
Hey.
And that is where we're going to end the session.
Well,
I can see why you wanted to get us to this point.
yeah, I can see why you were so keen. Well, that's a bit of an ending for you. Don't know when we'll have the next session, but we'll keep you posted. Take care, everyone.
Good night, my dears.
Like this every